Who say that I touch him wife? It was a wicked and awful life. My hand them was occupied. My shirt in the left and my pants in the right. My hand them was occupied. My shirt in the left and my pants in the right. Your Honor, inside sits minding I and I one business. Your Honor, it was a complete stranger. And when this disturbances, it was a wicked and a full life. My hand them was occupied. My shirt in the left and my pants in the right. Morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good Lord. How is everybody doing? Jesus. How are y'all doing, guys? Good morning. Good morning. It is 4 o'clock. And guess what? Not the first. It is the first day of February, isn't it? And we are going to continue to do what we do over here in the morning. Yeah, we're going to continue to do what we do over here in the morning, where we, okay, where we read the Bible. Now, yesterday we started reading the book of Hosea. And I tell you, uh, boy, the Bible is so mysterious. You know, the Bible is rather interesting. And I was wondering, you know, I was wondering with how did they end up? How did they end up just chucking the Bible on us? It really does seem like everybody who got sucked into it just took it and never really spent some time. Ca- Look at God so early in the morning. Why you come up? Why you come up? Open up your eye and for me so? Eh? Eh? Why you open up your eyes at me like this? Eh? Good morning, God. God, this is a good time for you to be up. A very good time. Thank you for coming into the live as always. You know how the thing go, God. You know what is. Hold on, let me see what them people are antagonize me about. Oh, oh my God. Cadmin will say you have your Bible, but hold on, let me. Oh my Jesus, these people really. It too, it too early in the morning, man. Too early in the morning for not distress me so. Too early. But anyway, I am here. Good morning again. This morning we're going to read Hosea chapters 3 to 5. And why we are reading 3 to 5 is because 3 is so short. 3 is very short. So we're going to read 3, 4, and 5. Okay? So for those of you who are just coming into the live, welcome. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. I sincerely appreciate you all. Yeah, we're going to continue doing what we do. Get your book Bibles or your Google Bible, whichever one you have, and join me. Let us read together. For those of you who are just coming, you're invited to share the live. You're invited to like up the live. You are invited. Okay. There is no obligation that you must, but I would appreciate it. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Yeah, we need okay. So come on now, guys. Yesterday we were reading the book of Isaiah, Hosea, not Isaiah no. Hosea, that's the book that comes right after Daniel. We were reading the book of Hosea, chapters 1 and 2. What was Hosea talking about? What was Hosea talking about yesterday? Hosea was talking about how the word of God had come to him. He said the word of God came to him and told him that he should go take a wife out of the whoredom. Now, on further inspection of what I had read yesterday, I realized that when he said God told him to go take a wife out of whoredom, it didn't mean like a wife who was a prostitute. That's not what it meant. It meant that he should go take an Israeli wife because the is quit my phone a lose. My phone a die. Never realize it. The whoredom that he was talking about, it didn't mean that somebody who was on the street prostituting. That's not what it meant. It meant somebody out of the remnants of Israel, because remember, he was referring to the few people who were left from the number of Israeli people who were there. They were the ones he was referring to as the women in whoredom, because he claimed that it was whorish that the children of Israel had forsaken him and gone on to worship Baal and Baalim, the gods of the enemy, or so to speak, the gods of the enemy, of the infidels. And so that's what he was talking about. So on initial encounter with the text, I was asking myself, like, why would he say he should go take a whore for a wife? Like, mm. But then I revisited the text after the live yesterday and I said, mm-mm, that could not be what he meant. That was not what he meant, because remember he went on to talk about the whorishness of the Israelites. And so that brought me to the conclusion that, of course, he didn't tell Hosea to go take a whore for his wife. He said go take one of those whorish women out of Israel, one of those women who have abandoned me, who have forsaken me. It's like, why he compared it to whoredom is that you have me, your God, let you go to, then you go to worship somebody else. So that's the same, like you have your husband, but you go ahead and have relations with somebody else. So that's how that word whoredom came into came into the reading yesterday. But anyway, we are going to be moving right along. If you have your book Bible or your Google Bible, roll along with me, guys. For those of you who are just coming, just discovering the channel, just stopping by, do not remember Teaser Freak and the others. I do not endorse any religion or denomination when I'm on my live. I'm simply trying to read the Bible for myself because I want to understand the text of the Bible and the context of the Bible. And I have chosen to share that journey with the world. So that's why I'm doing it openly, because I've chosen to share the journey. All right. We have been reading now from Genesis. Hey, Brenda. We have been reading from Genesis, and now we are at the book of Hosea. And there have been a lot to unpack, believe me, a lot to unpack when it comes to the Bible. So it would behoove those of you who like to um convert and condemn people based on the Bible, it would behoove y'all to read it for yourselves, to know what is in it. And those of you who want to sit and wait for somebody to tell you what is in the Bible, I say to you, you need to read it. Pam, Ash, you need to read it for yourself. Jacqueline, yeah, I say you need to read it for yourself, because there is so much in the Bible that one would find to be so much different from what you're being told compared to what you read for yourself. All right? But anyway, but anyway, with that being said, we are going to move right along. Sister Liz, how you doing? Ami, Daddy One, Miss Dawn, Larry, Norman, chosen by God. I think we are connected. I think I know that name. Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you doing? Good to see you, me and kids. Norma, good to see you guys. So if you have your good Bible, your book Bible or Google Bible, guys, and you want to read along with me, that is fine. And also, if you have anything to contribute to the reading while I'm reading, you're welcome to put it in the chat. Um, but I will not take anyone on the screen. Yeah, because I don't want to be distracted, and I don't want the people who are here to hear the scripture being read to be distracted and to be confused. So that nobody's gonna be coming on the screen. We have our own version of confusion going on here, so we're not going to invite any other. And JY, why you not send me the video? May I have to tell you every time to send me the video? Eh? You don't have the video with the boy in the tank? Eh? Ah boy. You make me a feel go around and a beg other people. Like me a little beggar. But anyway. Morning JY, me and my big mouth wake you up. Me Jesus. Then oh then now 1 o'clock a morning for you now. Where you do up? Well, 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 why you do wake up? Why you do wake up at this time of the morning, sir? Sister Liz, good morning. How are you doing? All right, Greg, what's up? Good morning, Greg. Good morning, Boy Fox and Tattoo, the others. JY, go on in your bed. Okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna move right along. We're gonna move right along into oh. You wake up to dash dash and hear my big mouth on your screen. OMG. I hope you are doing well, my love. Good to see you as always. Thank you for for peeping in. I appreciate you. All right, lovely people. Let us begin. Hosea chapter 3. Hosea chapter 3 says, Then then said the Lord unto me, Go yet, love a woman, beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord towards the children of Israel, who took to other gods and love flagons of wine. Then the Lord said unto me, Go yet, love a woman beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress, according to the love of the Lord towards the children of Israel, who will look to other gods and love flagons of wine. So I bought her to me. You hear him say? He never said brought. He's not BR. He said I bought her to me. All right. Just making that clear what the scripture says here. Verse 2. So I bought her to me for 15 pieces. So clearly it was a monetary transaction. For 15 pieces of silver and for an omer of barley and a half omer of barley. And I said unto her, Thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. But why was he buying another woman? Wasn't he married to Gomer? Well, I mean, I tell you, so this Bible here. Remember in yesterday's reading, Hosea to had married to Gomer. Let me go back and take a look at. Let me, because he had said chapter 1 and verse 3, he said, So he went and took Gomer, the daughter of Diblaim, which conceived and bare him a son. So he was married to Gomer, but here he says he bought. He said, The Lord said unto him, Go yet, love a woman, beloved of her friend, yet an adulteress. So not go take a woman who already has a husband. But when he compares this person to Israel, it does make sense. Like, go take a woman who already has a husband. The same way how the Israelites, the Jewish people, have taken on a God even though they already have a God. You all see the comparison there? That's what I am getting out. If you see something different, you are welcome to say it in the chat. Who that a text me this time of morning? Oh, you understand the assignment? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let us continue. Hosea chapter 3 and verse 3. And I said unto her, thou shalt abide for me many days. Thou shalt not play the harlot, and thou shalt not be for another man. So will I also be for thee. For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, and without a prince, and without a sacrifice, and without an image, and without an ephod, and without teraphim. Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God, and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Let's read that again. Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king, and shall fear the Lord and his goodness in the latter days. Oh, Terrell Owens, Bougie King, Derek George, and Velma Harper. Good morning. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you all. I hope you all are having a great Thursday morning. We are here. But wouldn't you say he's committing adultery? Well, I think he is figuratively speaking when he speaks of the adultery, because the he's comparing the behavior of the Jewish people to an adulterous affair between a married person and the person to whom they are not married. So he's comparing them. He's making he's using an adulterous affair as an example of how the Jewish people have been treating their God. So when he talks about adultery, he does not mean literally going to have, sexual relations with somebody else. But he compares it to this, it makes it seem like it's the same thing. Having an extramarital affair is similar to having an extra religious affair. All right, let us move right along. Does that make sense, sis? Yeah. So that is what he's saying. So let us continue on to chapter 4. Chapter 4 says, hear the word of the Lord, ye children of Israel. For the Lord hath a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of God in the land. By swearing and lying, and killing and stealing, and committing adultery, they break out, and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwells therein shall languish with the beasts of the field, and with the fowls of the heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Yet let no man strive, nor reprove another, for thy people are as they that strive with the priests. Hmm. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because they has rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children. Verse 7. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on their iniquity. And there shall be like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them their doings. For they shall eat and not have enough. They shall commit whoredom and shall not increase, because they have left off to take heed to the Lord. Whoredom and wine and new wine take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declares unto them, for the spirit of whoredoms have caused them to err, and they have gone a whoredom from under their God. They sacrifice upon the tops of the mountains, and burn incense upon the hills, under oaks and poplars and elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore your daughters shall commit whoredom, and your spouses shall commit adultery. So now the whoredom and the adultery here is the curse. The whoredom and the adultery mentioned in chapter 4 and verse 13, that is the curse. The whoredom and the adultery that was mentioned earlier, per the context of the Bible, did not involve extramarital relations. Now in verse 13, it involves extramarital relation, because now this is a curse he's putting on the people. This is a punishment for them for having abandoned him. So now they're getting the real deal. That is my understanding of it per the context. Okay? What is that, yard girl? Good morning. Good morning, yard girl. How you doing, Kiki? Who is this? Wildflower child. Good morning, guys. Thank you all for popping in. Sam and Wildflower, thanks for popping in. And Yvonne, I appreciate you all. Let us continue. What the Bible here, see? That's why when I say you can't just grab the Bible here and just read a verse, you can't just grab it and read a verse. Because if you grab it and read a verse and you don't have context, you don't know what they're talking about, who talking, you are going to probably think that you understand what you just read when you don't, because you don't have the context to what you are reading. And that is why I feel All when me confused, me still feel pleased that I've taken on the journey to this extent of reading it contextually. Hey, Bonita, who else is here? Guys, if you don't hear me call your name, it's not no ill will. But let us continue. You know, my thoughts go a million miles a minute, trying to trying to accommodate everything that's in the Bible and trying to remember stuff that I've read before and trying to compare them and trying to see how they are related. Yeah, sometimes as I sort it out in my mind, you might hear me go blank. I'm trying to sort it in my mind. Brenda Battle, how are you doing? Good morning to you. Happy Thursday, happy February, happy new month to everybody. Verse 14, he says, I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses when they commit adultery. Hmm? For themselves are separated with whores, hmm? And they sacrifice with harlots. Therefore, the people that doth not understand shall fall. What? Okay, let me mark that because I'm gonna have to come back to that and take another look because whatever that is saying there, I don't know. Verse 15. Verse 15. Though thou, Israel, play the harlot. Okay, here it's going back to comparing, it's going back to comparing Israel to the harlot. Though thou, Israel, play the harlot, yet let not Judah offend. And come not ye unto Gilgal, neither go ye up to Bethaven, nor swear, the Lord liveth. For Israel slideth back as a backsliding heifer. Jesus. Now the Lord will feed them as a lamb in a large place. Ephraim is joined to idols. Let him alone. Their drink is sour. They have committed whoredom continually. Her rulers with shame do love. Give he. The wind hath bound her up in her wings, and they shall be ashamed because of their sacrifices. Asababuke, how are you doing, my love? Good to see you, sis. Good to see you. Happy. Oh, Thursday. Why I keep thinking it's Friday. Happy Thursday morning to you. Happy February to you. Good to see you. Good to see you. Yeah, I am here. I am here, Kay, reading this good book here. Sometimes the good book be kicking my butt. And I'm trying to read it and to understand what it is saying. But nonetheless, we are still on the journey. We're gonna continue. We are going to continue on this journey. So welcome into the live, guys. Thank you all so much for coming. If you are just coming in, welcome. If you have your book Bible or your Google Bible, whichever one you have close to you, yeah, come on. And Sabuke say, I am trying to be okay, but with God and time. Yes, my love. Yes. Everything will be okay. Lady Green, good morning. Bless up yourself. How are you doing, my love? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Guys, we are going to be moving on to chapter 5. Chapter 4, there wasn't too much to unpack except that the children of Israel, the children of Israel were being compared to an adulterous woman. Yeah? So you get the drift where that is concerned. And then he said he was going to cause their daughters, that was some kind of punishment, gonna cause their daughters commit whoredom and their spouses to commit adultery. Me not understand how me not understand the whole heap of curse for the people them. I don't get it. But I guess it's the order of the day. Right, Lady Green to Grand Rising. Grand Rising to you, my love. You know, for the people living in fear all their lives, I understand that's why they couldn't be consistently faithful to their God. And I always wonder too, how were the other people? Because remember, the Bible is written, all the authors of all the books in the Bible are Jews. So the Bible is written from a Jewish perspective. But I've always wondered, what was life like for the other people? What were their encounters? Did they have encounters um with any celestial being? I mean, they were not worshiping the God of heaven. They were worshiping their gods made out of stone and wood and gold and whatever. And I always wondered, what was their what was their religious existence? You know, what were the experiences that they had pertaining to their God? You know, um, somebody says that the Bible was written in Greek. You mean at what point? The Bible was originally written in Greek. Why would the Jews write their Bible in Greek? The Jews wouldn't write their Bible in Greek. The Jews would have written their Bible in Hebrew. It may have been translated to Greek at some point, but these are all Jewish people who did the original. Remember, the Bible is not like somebody sat down and wrote a book. If I sit down right now to write a book, even though even though I can play around with some Creole and some Spanish, I wouldn't dare to write a book in either of those languages. I would have to write that book in English because English is my language. Now, if the Jews write their book, why would they write it in Greek? That's the open question. And that would make me if somebody says to me that somebody a Spanish person chose to write a book in English, I would ask question. Not that a Spanish person can speak English, but comparing now and then is completely different. But the entire book, I don't think was ever written in Greek. It was probably translated to Greek at some point because each and every author of each and every book in the Bible is a Jew. So that right there concludes my belief that the Bible was written originally in Hebrew and then later translated to different languages when they wanted to distribute it among among the people. Oh Lord, AG, me go on my bed with you upon my mind. I'ma wake up with you upon the live. How you doing? Yeah, yes, Liz. I believe so too. They would have written it in their own language. even if they understood other languages, it, I don't think it would make any sense for them to write, to document their experiences in another tongue rather than the tongue that they spoke. All right. All right. And I know that people have different views, different beliefs about, the the origin the origin of the Bible and so, but I tell you, if you put aside everything that you had been told and you read this good book here for yourself, yeah, them call it the good book, and you read it for yourself, you realize most of the things that you were told about this book ain't even true. But you have to read it to discover that. Because they don't want to discover that. Because if you discover that, you and Pastor going to probably have a conversation about all this money that you throw and give to Pastor. You and him going to have to have a conversation. You're going to probably have questions asking Pastor about all this savagery and the bloodletting and all of this in the Bible. And Pastor going to find a way to justify it and tell you, say, well, nothing no wrong with it because it was all ordered by God for all these people to be slain. And if you ask Pastor, said then if God was ordering all these slayings, didn't he have the power to order forgiveness? Didn't he have the power to save the children of Israel from the utter destruction that eventually took them? Didn't he say they were his people and he was going to make them prosper and grow and something? Since he know all things, how comes he never said they were going to sin? And since they are his people and he wanted them to prosper and grow, now should I put measures into place to ensure that they don't sin to that extent which part them get destroyed, since he knows that that was his plan for them? He must have known, well, me know these people, are my people, them, these are my chosen people. Me I go bring them up out of Egypt. Me I go bring them up out of Egypt. Me I go give them their land. Me I gonna make them go cross the River Jordan. I'm gonna make them slay all these people in Jericho and Ai and all these places and take these lands and build up a massive dynasty in the region. And then me I gonna make the enemy come and take it away from them bit by bit and slay them. And what kind of plot would that? What kind of plot is that? I have questions. I have lots of questions. Because if you tell me that all of this was orchestrated by God, eh, 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 you know, that does not sound right. That does not sound quite godly. And I know a lot of people have like the slavery mentality. Them have the mentality that um they deserve they not deserve nothing good. Yeah, them treat poverty as a trophy. Them treat hurt as love. Because I must love me, make you hurt me. I must love me, make you beat me. I must love me. Yeah, there are some people who have that mentality. Yeah, that it has to be love. Their punishment is out of love. I can understand punishment that is out of love, but when you constantly beat me down and you constantly destroy me to the point where I am basically begging for mercy, or I just quit begging for mercy because I'm begging but getting none, then we have to wonder if is that just punishment, or or is that just downright hatred? I don't know. There is a thin line right there. And oftentimes I'm unable to straddle that line comfortably. You know, I wish as I was reading the Bible, as I come into this with an open mind, I wish that there was more, that there was more love being shown in the Bible, more grace, more peace, more forgiveness. That was sort of, that would make for me the script more attractive. But honestly speaking, with all the hatred and the bloodletting and the damning and oh yeah, it brings me to a place where my poor little heart cannot understand it. But it's in the Bible, and we have been given the Bible as our inspiration. I don't want to be inspired by all this killing. I don't want to be inspired by all this revenge, by all this cruelty. Is that the kind of inspiration you want? No, sir, me not like that the inspiration at all. Just saying. Me not like that the inspiration. But we are going to continue. We are going to continue reading. We are on to chapter 5 of the book of Hosea. That's the book that comes right after Daniel. Hosea chapter 5. Hear ye this, O priests, and hearken, ye house of Israel, and give ye ear, O house of the king. For judgment is towards you, because ye have been a snare on Mizpah, and a net spread upon Tabor. And the revolters are profound to make slaughter, though I have been a rebuker of them all. I know Ephraim, and Israel is not hid from me. For now, O Ephraim, thou committest whoredom, and Israel is defiled. Verse 4. They will not frame their doings to turn unto their God, for the spirit of whoredom is in the midst of them, and they have not known the Lord. And the pride of Israel doth testify to his face. Therefore shall Israel and Ephraim fall in their iniquity. Judah also shall fall with them. Verse 7. They have dealt treacherously against the Lord, for they have begotten strange children. Now shall a month devour them with their portions. Now, you all know what they mean when they say the people have had strange children. The strange children are the children that they have had with people who were not descendants of Jacob. Those are the people they are calling, the children they are calling strange children. Now, for those of you who have been here with the reading, or maybe you have read before, you all remember when we read the book of Jeremiah? Jeremiah told the Jewish people that God said they should obey and go on down a Babylon, go serve Nebuchadnezzar. You all remember that? Remember, Jeremiah was considered, or not was, because back then nobody really cared about Jeremiah, but in today's Christianity, Jeremiah is considered to be one of the greatest prophets. I beg to differ. But remember that Jeremiah, when King Nebuchadnezzar came up, destroyed Israel, Jeremiah told the people that God said they should go. Those who were not killed by the sword, by the famine, or by pestilence should voluntarily go to Babylon. Let their sons marry the Babylonian daughters. Let the Babylonian sons marry their daughters, and they must continue having children and continue to grow down there. At that time, remember, I was asking, I said, why, why God would, why God would say that? Why would God be so determined to punish the children of Israel for serving the false gods, but then tell Jeremiah to tell the people it is okay to go into Babylon and go serve their gods and go serve Nebuchadnezzar and go have children down there when, according to their Jewish code, they were not supposed to marry anybody who was not a descendant of Jacob. So why all on a sudden God would change his mouth and tell Jeremiah to tell the people this? It didn't make sense. It didn't make sense to me. It didn't seem plausible at all. Because then that would be absolutely contradictory to the expectations of the Jewish people. And the people them apparently they believed Jeremiah. Obviously, they believed him that God said so. And so they went down there and they had their daughters marry Babylonian boys, and they had Babylonian boys, Babylonian girls marry their sons and had children. Now, for those of you who remember the story of Nehemiah, now look how this ties back into Nehemiah to make you even have more questions. Now, remember, when Nehemiah came back, when Nehemiah came back from Syria to come rebuild Jerusalem, remember when Nehemiah was gathering up all the assistants for help, to get help to rebuild Jerusalem? The priest said when the people were coming, they wanted more hands because the little bit of them couldn't handle Tobias and the others who were around them, who were determined to ensure that they do not rebuild Jerusalem. But they wanted more hands. And so where is the bulk of the Jewish people? The bulk of the Jewish people were down there in Babylon. And they wanted people who were loyal to Hebrewism to come back and rebuild Jerusalem. What was the condition for the men who were to come back and help with the rebuilding of Jerusalem? One of the conditions for them to come back, or the only condition, except for them to explain how they are a descendant of Jacob. Remember, that was one condition. They didn't just take back anybody. You have to come and explain how you classify as a Jew, who you related to, whose line did you come from. Did you come from the line of Dan, Benjamin? Who? Which of the children of Israel is your foreparent? They had to explain that before they were accepted. But most importantly, they could not bring back the children or the wives that they had married in Babylon. So if you went down there and you married a Babylonian woman, you were not welcomed. You can come, but the wife cannot come. And those children are what they refer to as strange children. What a piece of something, eh? They refer to those children as strange children. So you can't come back with the strange children, and you can't come back with the strange wife. You are welcomed, but not the strange children and the strange wife. They got to stay. Now, wish God would have encouraged you now. For I remember these people never just have one wife. No, you mean to tell me now, say, God would have encouraged these people and say, left your wife and your pitney them and come. we will give you next another. You will get another wife, and you will be able to have more children. But left them the one. No care what happened to them. Just left them. I doubt it. I highly doubt it. But then when I look at it and how patriarchal their society was, I realize that it may just be true. It may be true because when you see how heartless these people never, I don't think they're really, I don't know. I just think that the things that they did were questionable, to say the least. Remember, they didn't see anything wrong with just slaying somebody for the simplest of offense. They didn't see anything wrong with that because to them, death seemed like an easier option. You don't notice, like, same way down in the Middle East these days, one of them place there, a simple offense, you get sentenced to death. There is like no reprieve for you. I mean, them just like, okay, we'll take you out of society. That's just like that. Like, we just not, we're not just not gonna tolerate none of this foolishness. And once they take out one person for something, don't you see the fear? When I see other people them live in fear, they live in such fear. They are compliant, not because they see the goodness in compliance, but because they are terrified of the consequences. That is why you find that those people follow their rules and their laws to a T out of fear. And I tell you, by just reading the Bible, I understand because I would be terrified as well. If I lived in a society like that, I would be terrified. But back to the story of the children of Israel coming back to rebuild Jerusalem. You all remember when I read the book on this foundation? For those of you who haven't been here, as we have been reading novels, you may not remember, you may not know. But I read the book called On This Foundation. Now, you all remember that Chana, one of the characters in that book, Chana and her sisters. Remember, their father was highly revered in the Jewish community, but they were not allowed as girls. They were not allowed to contribute to the rebuilding of Jerusalem. And remember, Chana defied that. She defied that order, that law, and she was determined. She was determined that she and her sisters were going to help. They were going to help to carry mortar bucket or mix mortar, nail up board or do something. They were determined that they were going to. And I guess that was maybe like not the initial rebellion of women, because we saw the initial rebellion of women with Zelophehad's daughters. According to the Bible, that was the first time in the Bible that I came across a female rebellion, was when Zelophehad's daughters confronted Moses about them not being given their father's inheritance because he had died. And in their custom, the inheritance that a man has left, whatever wealth a man has left after he dies, that wealth goes to his son. But here was Zelophehad, who had no sons. So it was supposed to go to his brother. If he had no brother, it goes to his uncle, but it goes to a male relative. And if there was no male relative, it's going to a male close friend. But the daughters were not pleased. So that's just a little bit of backstory there. And then there was there was the rebellion of the daughters. There was of what was their dad's name? Chana's rebellion, where Chana and her sisters rebelled against the Jewish order that says the women were not welcomed to work on the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Well, they defied that order as well, Chana and her sisters, and they helped in the rebuilding of Jerusalem. Now, here in Hosea, it is talking again about these strange children. That's to show you how deeply ingrained this kind of, I want to call it racism, uh, or something similar, how deeply ingrained it was in their society. Remember, they were not, as Jewish people, they were discouraged entirely. They were discouraged from marrying and breeding with anybody who was not a descendant of the Jews. A descendant of Jacob. They were banned totally from marrying or having kids with anybody. But not even stopping to think, that for those of you who are here, their original leader, Moses. Remember Moses? Moses was married to a whole Ethiopian. But yet, Moses told the people that God said they should not marry anybody except the descendants of the children of Israel. That right there was one thing that gave me a whole big red flag, whole big red question about whether or not all these things that Moses said God told him. I have questions. Now, what about questions, What about questions? And here I am reading the Bible trying to find the answers. And over, I get knocked in the face with disappointment, not being able to find the questions. But we're going to continue. That was just a little ramble there talking about these, when the Bible talk about these strange children. Those are the children the Bible talking about. Verse 7 of chapter 5 of the book of Hosea. They have dealt treacherously against the Lord, for they have begotten strange children. Now shall a month devour them with their portions. Blow ye the cornets in Gibeah, and the trumpet in Ramah. Cry aloud at Bethaven after thee, O Benjamin. Ephraim shall be desolate in the day of rebuke. Among the tribes of Israel have I made known that which shall surely be. The princes of Judah were like them that remove the bound. Therefore I will pour out my wrath upon them like water. Ephraim is oppressed and broken in judgment, because he willingly walked after the commandments. Therefore will I be unto Ephraim as a moth, and to the house of Judah as rottenness. Want to hear that, people? I wonder why he used the word moth. He shall be to the house of Ephraim as a moth. Is it, does that mean dangerous, like a moth that slowly eats away at something? Is that why is that what it means to compare himself to being like a moth to Ephraim? What do you all think, guys? Why would he compare himself to a moth? He said he shall be like a moth to Ephraim. Is that like what them call like one of those chichi? What them call them? Like termite is, and to the house of Judah he shall be as rottenness. Oh, well, that's what I understand from it. That he shall slowly destroy them, just like how a moth, a termite, slowly destroys something. That's how he's going to slowly destroy the house of Ephraim. And then the house of Judah, it shall be like rottenness, something eating away slowly. Exactly. That's what I understand from it too, sis. That's exactly what I understand from it. Oh, this Carl. Oh, that the black Karen. The black Karen is in the house. Okay. Oh, good morning, the black Karen. How you doing? Yes, and then when he says to the house of Judah, it shall be like rottenness. Yeah, he's going to, yeah, they're gonna become putrid. They're just gonna waste away. When Ephraim saw his sickness and Judah saw his wound, then went Ephraim to the Assyrian and sent to King Jareb. Yet could he not heal you, nor cure you of your wound. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. I, even I, will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him. Verse 15. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You get that, guys? Okay. So apparently, based on the context here, this is supposed to be the punishment for the children of Ephraim and Judah. Here, there, God says he's going to be to Ephraim like a moth and to Judah total rottenness. They will not be able to cure their wounds, but when they realize how sick they are going to come looking for him for his help. I don't know how I feel about that. But even if it is a God, even if it is a God that feels the need to constantly punish you and destroy you just so you know who he is, to prove a point, couldn't this point be proven with more love? That's just my question. Could this point not be proven with more love? Because all of this, where he's saying that he is trying to prove his point to the children of Israel to make them know that he is God, to me seems like there's this great love-hate relationship, and to me it seems cruel. I know many of you gonna have questions about that, gonna say, oh, it's not cruel. If a God kill you, you weren't dying. If a God punish you and make you sick in a bed, you deserve it. I know a lot of people gonna say that. But remember, at this point, when these writings were being done, it was different from today's time. I always wonder how comes back then these people could have such, it seems like there were more people who had close relations with God than now. Is that what I wanted to say? Like all these people who were declaring themselves to be prophets and claiming that they were, God was talking to them and they were having all these encounters with God and God was telling them what to do. How comes, I'm gonna say a lot of people being able to talk to God like that anymore. Because here it's according to the Bible, this was God talking to Hosea and telling Hosea what his plans were and what he is going to do and what he was going to do to the children of Ephraim and Judah. So I'm asking you something. If somebody come now and say to you that them talk to God last night and God say he's going to do something to you, would you believe that person or would you say that person here crazy? That is my question. Because if somebody come at my door right now and tell me, say, God say, if you tell me, say, him a go, him a go destroy me, him a go make sure, say, me, me no have no prosperity. Yeah, somebody come and tell me. The first thing me that say to that somebody that says to move from in front of me. Because I wouldn't believe that person say no God tell him that. But we see here in the Bible where these prophets were bold enough to write, say God tell them these things. They were bold enough and they were convinced. But since they say that this is the beginning of our Christian religion, when God was, I guess, more accessible, I don't know what happened if it is the curse that caused him not to be as accessible now as he was then. Or is it that we are bigger? What's up? Or is it that we have evolved into smarter beings? We are more open to new ideas and we are thinking on a different level than the people were then because we have lots of alternatives and we have lots of other influences on our thoughts. Back then, all the influence those people have on their thoughts was the cow and the goat and the sheep, what them are gonna look for if we go sacrifice the next time. And you know, taking care of their husbands and their children. Now there is a lot more influence on the mind. So people not just sitting down thinking about taking care of husband and children and those things. No, we have other things on our minds. So I mean, I want to at least I want to hear it from God myself. I don't want no hearsay. I would listen. Honestly, I would doubt anybody who would come in front of me and tell me that God tell them something to come tell me. After me and God now in a malice. Why, if God would have something to tell me, he wouldn't want to come tell me? Me I go bite him? Me not bite him. Me not go jump on him. Why wouldn't he tell me? So that brings me to the question. Me know some man are gonna say, oh no, oh some people can communicate with God and not everybody can communicate with God. So why, why the same way how you can talk to God, what make you more qualified to talk to him than me? That's my question. You're not supposed to be more qualified to talk to him than me because he's supposed to want to talk to all of we. on the same level because we are all man. And that is why I think I don't know anyone who ever. Bigo, Bigo, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, my love. If you follow this Bible here, yeah, it'll be coming like right now. You have people who who are writing articles claiming to have communicated with God. Some of these people are suffer from some kind of psychosis. You understand? I said them talk to God. Call me a skeptic if you want. It don't matter to me. It don't matter to me. Because if God want to tell me something, he can't tell me himself. He not have to tell you. You don't have to be my messenger. You don't have to come, you don't have to tell me, say, God tell you to tell me something. Eh. No, coming in a malice with God. If God want to tell me something, he can come tell me himself. And a lot of these people, based on the readings of the Bible, nobody not tell them nothing. A lot of these people want to elevate themselves in society. Organ sound like what he look. Amigo. Organ sound what he look like. Exactly. You understand? Which language he speak? You know, them say him speak any language where you speak. It him come speak to you, because it him come talk to you in the language, the tongue for you understand. Well, if that be the case, that might be plausible. But when somebody say God say, if he tell you something, that's a totally different story. So if you in a malice with God when him can't tell why him want to tell himself, will always be bamboozled. Will always be bamboozled. People always are gonna tell say God say, I know I gonna believe because a lot of us are so desperate to believe. Desperate to believe that any little John Tom come and start preach and start telling us that run, jump and believe because you don't seek for yourself. Verse 14 says, "For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion." First he was gonna be unto Ephraim as a moth. Now him gonna be to Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. So to Ephraim I'm gonna be what the grown lion, and to Judah I'm gonna be the young lion. Even I will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him. Yeah, so just like a lion, or a lion tear up the meat, nobody can rescue once a lion hold you. Yeah, tear you up and then go away about his business. And then verse 15, which is the last verse. It wasn't the weak or the poor who wrote the Bible. It was I like that, Bigo. Remember, yes. Listen, the people who wrote it, or who wrote their version, the versions that were put in the Bible were, notice it was people who elevated themselves to prophets and priests. Yeah, these are the people whose writings were chosen. You understand? Remember, say I know somebody sit down and write the Bible. These were selective texts. These were selective Jewish texts that were put in this compilation that we now know as the Bible. Because remember, the Bible wasn't written over just one period. The books that are in the Bible span thousands of years. Okay? So it was not written just in one era. But when you read it, that's when you understand it, because a lot of people don't read it. So they think that somebody just sit down and say, oh, the Bible was written by men inspired by God. So God inspired them and then just sit down and write and write and write and write. And you notice that those people usually stay away from the parts of the Bible that really gives you context about it and how it came about. Them stay away from that because they don't want to hear that. They just want to grab a verse here and grab a verse there. Yeah. So the Bible was not written in terms of a person sitting down and writing the entire text. It was not written like that. People wrote their encounters or what they believed to be their encounters with their God, and they wrote about the events that occurred during their lifetime, their contributions to these events, how these events affected them and their society at the time. And then later on, these writings, some of these writings were put together in this compilation that we now have as the Bible. Okay? And a lot of these things in the Bible, I tell you, if this is where you want your inspiration, then something wrong with you. Then we can understand why there's so much murders in the world and people being so heartless towards each other. Because if you believe that everything in the Bible is supposed to be inspiration for you, then I would understand if you also believe that there is nothing wrong with the murders and the backbiting and the slayings and the cruelty that exists around the world, because there is so much of that in the Bible. But anywho, let me see. We have, okay, I read that already, that it was people in high status. Because remember, people like Jeremiah. Jeremiah was a poor little mendicant. Jeremiah had nothing. Jeremiah was a nobody until he declared that God God came to him in a dream and told him to go wrap some kind of linen around his waist and take it off and bury it by the river Euphrates, and then go dig it up 3 days later and look at it, and the way it looks, that's how the hearts of the children of Israel are. And he should now go preach and tell them that this is how their heart is. And God said, before that, nobody paid Jeremiah any mind. But you see, Jeremiah wanted so badly to be somebody. He wanted so badly for the people to respect him and look up to him. And so came up with this he came up with this elaborate story. He came up with this elaborate story talking about he saw God in his dream and all these things that he say God told him. You know, if God told Jeremiah, nobody not tell Jeremiah nothing. Because when you track Jeremiah's activities, you realize that Jeremiah was not, his actions were questionable. It didn't seem like there was any godly motivator behind Jeremiah's behavior. Do you think when King Jeroboam ripped up that scroll and threw it in the fire, that scroll that Jeremiah had Baruch to write, claiming that God was talking to him? What you sit down there, so now and me I tell you, say, come on now. Come on now, Robert, get your pen. God a go talk to me. And everything him tell me I go tell you if you write it. And God a talk to me and me I tell you if you write it. And me I tell you what God a tell me, and you are right and right and right and right and right. And then me say to you, say, all right, Robert, You see, Sabbath morning, you go on over church and go read this in front of the church and tell them. Because remember, by this time, Jeremiah couldn't go in the church. Because the people them chase him away and say, him not come with no good news from their God for them. Everything him come with is death and destruction. So the people were just disgusted with him. Okay? And then him send Baruch to go read the scroll. Why him say God say? Baruch went in the church, go read the scroll to the people. The people them say, nobody know why you're not at all from Jeremiah. Make we carry go give to the king. Let's carry him to the king. Make the king peruse the scroll and see if there's anything in it that seems true. The king read it, read the scroll, and rip it up and throw it in the fire. I said, you know what? You're not from Jeremiah. Jeremiah not come with no good news. Jeremiah not come and say God sending wealth and growth and prosperity and all of that for the Jewish people. No. What him come with? Death and destruction. And that made the people quite fed up. And then him try to make him prophecy come true by telling them, say, oh, God say Nebuchadnezzar will come up and destroy them. Yeah, God tell him, say Nebuchadnezzar come destroy the people. No, God not tell him nothing. No, God not tell him nothing. Because when Nebuchadnezzar did come up, and when Nebuchadnezzar did, him twist everything for his own purposes. Exactly, Liz. He twisted everything for his own purposes. He tell them, God say Nebuchadnezzar will come up and destroy them. And in the same breath, he said, God say, all the people who had left Jerusalem must come back and set up their thrones around Jerusalem. And the people came back because, hey, Jeremiah said, God says so. Then come back, then set up their thrones around Jerusalem, set up their throne. And at the same time, Nebuchadnezzar is going to come and destroy them. And Jeremiah set up that with Nebuchadnezzar to come and destroy the people. And nobody can convince me nowhere else. Nobody cannot convince me nothing else. Say, I know Jeremiah set that up. Jeremiah set it up just like how somebody in that today could have set up. Just like what them say 9/11 was a plot. Somebody talk about it, somebody sit down and make that plan. Yeah. Jeremiah sit down and make that plan with Nebuchadnezzar to destroy Israel, because Jeremiah wanted to say that what he prophesied came true. And if that was not so, give me a good answer. Give me a good answer, therefore, as to why then would Nebuchadnezzar give Jeremiah a whole heap of prize, whole heap of presents after he destroyed Jerusalem. He never destroyed Jeremiah. No? Remember, I say him slay and him slay and him slay, and he never slay Jeremiah. Remember, in capture and in capture and in capture, and he never capture Jeremiah. And to put the icing on the cake, he says to Gedaliah, this Jeremiah here, let no one harm him. Give him whatever he needs. And so Jeremiah suddenly went from this poor mendicant with nothing to living big and large and pretty in Jerusalem, because now he get to select which land he want. And Gedaliah couldn't say no, because King Nebuchadnezzar already gave the order and said, give Jeremiah whatever, olive grove, whatever land, whatever he wants, and protect him at all costs. Let no one harm him. And people still come tell me about Jeremiah was great prophet. Try please. Unless me I don't read the same book. Unless me and Uno not reading the same book. But this book that I read, that was my understanding of Jeremiah's life and his significant contribution to the destruction of Israel. We know Nebuchadnezzar don't give nothing for free. Nebuchadnezzar ordered Daniel dead until Daniel could interpret the dream for him. And then he gonna give Daniel presents and stuff. Nebuchadnezzar don't give nobody nothing. He don't give away anything, according to the Bible. He is about power, power, and more power. And unless you can contribute to his power hungry dynasty, you are not worth anything to him. So I would find it very, very strange that Nebuchadnezzar would suddenly, without cause, without reason, have given Jeremiah all these gifts just because. Just because. Just because what? Yeah, I don't think so. So Jeremiah in my book, based on what I have read, was not as great as people are making him out to be. Yeah, he was a liar and he was a crook. Sister Winsome, bless up yourself. Sister Winsome, make you late. What make you late this morning? Tell me. Give me a good answer. Stand up in front of the class and tell us why you're late. And tell us what you gotta do to make sure you're not late again. Good morning, my love. Good to see you. Good to see you. Late or not. It's a pleasure to see you. You're just weird. Okay, class. Sister Winsome says she just weird. That's why she come late. We were waiting for you, my love, and we appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming. How are you feeling today, darling? So when me read, Winsome, me just don't read the book of Hosea chapter 5, you know. I read chapters 3, 4, and 5 this morning because chapter 3 had only 5 verses. Yeah, so that did kind of short. So I read 3, 4, and 5. There isn't too much to unpack except where Hosea is saying um God is talking about Israel, the same old story of Israel being disobedient and comparing the Israelites to eh, comparing Israel to a whore. Yeah, something like that. But there wasn't too much to unpack this morning. But it takes us all the way back to Jeremiah. As always, almost everything leads back to him, especially when it comes to the destruction of Israel. Yeah, he was a significant contributor to that destruction based on his teachings and preachings. Uh-huh. Agatha is here, and that Nehemiah was here. Craig, good morning, my love. How are you doing? Good to see you. Good to see you. Welcome. Happy Thursday morning to you, Mr. Kirkland. Happy Thursday morning to you, my love. How are you doing? It's Thursday. It's Thursday. Yeah, we have. Are you doing great? Wonderful. Wonderful. Good to see you. You having snow up there in your neighborhood? I keep hearing drip drip of rain outside, so I know it's raining. I keep hearing the pitter patter on the window, but I ain't even looking. Is it snowing? Oh Lord, I mean, is it snowing there? What's the weather like where you are at? What's the weather like? That should be the question actually. Are it too early now? You're not still out the door yet from morning. I'm not still out the door yet either. But I heard some patter patter on the window, which tells me that it was raining. You are something else. You are something else. Oh, I'm not snow there. Okay. Okay, well, that is good. That's good. You will have snow this weekend. Watch your Winsome, so I come anytime. I'm gonna have no set time. Sister Winsome, you know it's 4 o'clock in the morning, me I come. I already say me I come whenever me no work the night before, me come 4 o'clock in the morning. Whenever me work the night, me not gonna come until like maybe 8:30. And sometimes when me work the night before, me not going to read in the morning because me be tired. Never and will not wanna know nothing about the we don't wanna know nothing at all about the neighborhood after all. What happened to him, man? It's too early. Well, it's still too early. Too early in the morning for the shenanigans. You understand? Too early. All right, Sister Liz, you going back to bed? You going back to bed? We will see you later. Myself, me not going back to bed, but me I go get cracking. I have some other things that I must get done today, because tomorrow me I go to work and me I work the whole weekend. So I have some things that I got to get done today. Yeah, whether I like to or not. Right, guys? Yeah. So I'm going to be upping off the live. Right now we've been here now for 4.5. I'm going to be hopping off the live, and when you all see me again later, we will have a. You say why? Why me up off of the live now? Wait there. Y'all come. Y'all come talk to me. Well, me up off of it. Me up off of this live. Oh, wait there. Wait there. Let me see. Let's make sure the connection is good. Craig, I talk. How come I not hear him? All right, me I hear you now. What's up?
I am up.
Ah, you better be.
That's what up.
Yeah, you better be. I give thanks.
What's the problem?
Missy, you get two lovers last night. With 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 since me get two. Me don't know. She said me get two lovers last night, but she said me get two lovers last.
Oh, you say you get two lovers?
She said me get two lovers last night. Me don't know where them two lovers they
Oh
come
Lord.
from. With some spread propaganda upon me. Some spread propaganda upon me, Sister Winsome. I don't have no one lover nor two lover.
Never mix up with.
Yeah, who did I love me up last night? AG, say AG I'm the original. And Jojo. Well, what can I do? They are going to come, Sister Winsome. They are going to
They're going
come.
to what?
Yeah, from all. Catch yourself.
Well, I'm
Good
pretty nice,
morning,
all right.
Mr. Kirkland. And the Bible, may I read this?
Okay,
Winsome.
okay.
And the Bible, may I read this morning? No. Yeah.
Me listen.
In the night,
we are knock up the shenanigans. In the morning, we are read the Bible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's nothing, man.
Me know, you don't have to say nothing. You just have to. You don't have to say. Me know, man. You don't have to say not one word. Your silence speak volumes. Or your little
Me just step in, Mr.
eh,
Wagwan, before you jump off.
Me know,
So we
man.
just speak up godly stuff.
The godly stuff, right?
Yeah.
I tell you, yeah. I what kind of shuffle did they shuffle so early in the morning, brother? I we have to take out what kind of plastic you have to take out a package?
And a plastic and a package and I said that for long.
Like yeah, like you have to go some kind of like you have to go some kind of plastic out of one package. Oh my gosh. Like you are something else. Mr. Mr. Kirkland. Say you are something else, I tell you.
You know, come and say nothing or do nothing. I mean, fuck me
Me
that.
say you don't have to even say anything.
You know, something else other than you, man.
Watch yourself.
Me never say you are a man. Me say you, man. Like, you, okay, human being.
Oh, what?
So me try when you say right word then because you
Because all of your word them twisted. All of your
see
word,
a word already there.
all of your word them twisted. Always. All I mean into your words them twisted.
I understand what you're saying.
Me did see you last night, you know, me did the on live, but me did see you. Me did see you with one whole panel, I must about 10 people.
That wasn't last night.
And then last night I went.
That was from
Last night?
yesterday.
No, last night when I was on live, last night when I was
Okay.
on my live,
Let me see.
yeah, last time when I was on my live, we see only one screen full of people.
If I be the people, if I be the people, I know the day.
I never last night.
Not in the night. No, in the day, daytime that.
Oh really? Don't know
No,
why I
sir.
made it think of it last night. Eh, nothing, me just
But never last night. I got my bed early. And I'm
oh,
going to bed now. Sleep.
laugh. Yeah, why not?
You say?
Me say
Of
why
course,
not?
no, no, maybe.
Me don't know. Well, I know. Me turn off it. Me turn off the tube, cause the tube people them